So, for starters, I want to say that I hope that you're doing well. My thoughts and prayers go out to all those in California going through this crazy situation that's currently going on right now. I do have my share of thoughts about that. I won't be getting into that right now for this video. This video, I'm just talking about something a lot, a lot more insignificant. But I will be speaking about what's happening in California. But for right now, I want to cover why I do strongly believe that Raven is the worst character in Tekken 8. And I've made a few videos about this already, but this time I had the idea to actually show a couple of different characters that have similar moves to Raven, but I want to show just how superior their version of that particular move is compared to Raven. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. I'm gonna get pretty deep in this video, and hopefully by the end you'll have a better understanding as to why I truly believe what I believe. So let's kick this off and let's get started. So the first comparison that I want to draw your attention to is Raven's back 2-2-3 and his back 2-2 1+2. I want to compare that to one of Ling's strings that I'm going to show after breaking this down. Now, both options here, the 3 and the 1+2, are both launch punishable. 100%. I am firmly against both of those options being launch punishable. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's just it doesn't even make any sense. The only real reason you're doing this string is to get Raven back turned. So what I want to do in breaking this move, this string down, is the initial attack is a high. It's 15 frames. And what you might notice about it in the frame data is that it's -14. So why is this initial move -14? Why? Doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you if you're a Raven main, but this doesn't make any sense to me. Now, for whatever reason, if your opponent happens to be pressing buttons and trying to, I guess, attack you, maybe that's why, because when you do the follow-up back 2-2 and go into this particular move, that elbow is going to land on a counter hit. I don't know, maybe that's what their thought process was. I just think it's ridiculous. So it does get you in back turned. Now, let's say you're in back turned and your opponent is mashing buttons. That's where the follow-up of this will come in. So let me just show you what that looks like real quick. So we're just gonna change this person to attack on the second hit, put this to punish. So this is what it looks like. If they're mashing, it'll be a counter hit like this. And you'll get yourself a free combo, you know, do whatever you want, whatever combo you're gonna go after. Now, perhaps maybe the logic that Namco thought is, well, if you do this move and they're mashing, get a free counter hit, but, you know, if they block, they can launch you. Okay, that's all fine and good. However, if you instead say, you know what, I want to do the low option only gives you 24 damage and it's a 20 frame startup, right? Now, if you block that low option, you are -30. That means any character in the game can launch you. It doesn't matter who you got. I don't agree with that. Now, what I will show you with Ling Xiaoyu, on the other hand, is she has a vastly superior string that puts her in back turn, but also her move, and I call these moves interrupters. Maybe the community has a different name. Basically, when you do back 2-2, you're in back turn, so you see how she's mashing, right? Now, if I want to avoid this, sure, I can do the counter, sure, I can warp away, I can do all of that. I can even do, if I want to run the risk, I can do down back 3 from back turn. However, that move is death on block at minus 26. So while you do have options, they're not the best options, especially when all you're trying to do is get into your back turn position. Now, let me flip on over to Ling Xiaoyu. So with Ling, I believe it's, forward 3-1, both punches. Now, as you can see, unlike Raven's first strike of back 2, hers is a mid. It's a knee lift, which means that you're not going to be able to counter this. I suppose maybe Leroy can counter this because I think he can parry everything. And this is 16 frame startup, whereas Raven's back 2 was 15. So this knee strike from Ling is only 1 frame slower. However, the most important thing, as you can see, is that it's minus 9. So this move is safe on block, right? And it has some fair distance that it covers. Now, the follow-up move here that puts you in back turn is forward 3-1. Now, the thing is, forward 3-1, in fact, it's basically the same frames as back 2-2 with Raven. It puts you in back turn at minus 3, the exact same position. So the move is essentially the same move with the same intent. Back 2-2 is to get Raven back turned, and forward 3-1 is to get Ling Xiaoyu back turned. However, if your opponent is trying to prevent you from taking action in back turn, like this with Ling Xiaoyu, her interrupter is 1+2, and as you can see, unlike Raven's, it's only minus 12. Now you might be saying, well, Raven's back 2-2-3, if they're mashing, it will result in a counter hit launch. Now that might be fair if you want to argue the point and say, well, for the counter hit launch, in the event your opponent mashes, they'll get a launch. If they make the read, they can launch you. I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is, what if I want to do the low option, and Raven, the low option, as I've shown you in the earlier segment here, was minus 30. Whereas for Ling Xiaoyu, Ling really wouldn't care, a Ling player wouldn't care whether or not she's going to go mid or low. The whole point is the third part of this string is meant to keep her safe from being mashed. So with this being minus 12, this string is much, much more useful in getting Ling Xiaoyu into her back turn position as opposed to Raven's back 2-2 string. I mean, for me, this is definitely a string that is very strong. I just feel it's such a superior string to run on your opponent as a Ling user, and I kind of wish that Raven's back 2-2-3 string, I wish it was similar. I feel that if Namco were to, at the very least, make the low option not minus 30, make it like minus 12, because the low option for Raven, as I'm going to show here, what are you really getting here? You're not really getting much of anything. Let me just take her off of block. You get 20 damage and +3. And now I did cover this in another video, so I'm treading old info here. But if this is your first time watching, it's horrible that this low attack is minus 30. I don't know what Namco was thinking of. It doesn't give you any positional advantage, nothing. It doesn't do anything for you. The options of Raven getting into his stance, having any sort of frame advantage to do anything. Now, of course, You can utilize his Aqua Spider low attack, which pound for pound is, I feel, one of the best low attacks in the game. I'm pretty sure every Raven main knows of this move. It's amazing. It's a 20 frame low. It's +2 on hit. It's -9 on block. So it's safe. And I do safe in air quotes because while you're technically, if a move is -9, you are technically safe in this game. However, because you are back turned, your opponent can still attack you, and you do not have the frames to turn back around to defend. So you are forced to either try to counter or try to warp out. Otherwise, you know, it becomes this conditioning game where you're conditioning your opponent to no longer go for the punish because they're fearing you attack reversaling them. And then once you condition them to not do it, then I guess you can say the move becomes safe in a way, because now they're no longer willing to do a while standing punish out of fear of your defensive options. A lot of Raven players, they love down back 2, and this move is good. But I think really the main reason why people are using this move is not for the poke itself. It's really to get you in back turn. That's really it. Because when it lands, you're +5. And then when you're +5, you have some solid back turn options. Now, while the move is safe on block at -4, right? You do have the frames to turn back around. As I'll show here, you see she's mashing attack, mashing her 10 frame. So if I were to do the move and exit out the stance, I can still block. He does have a follow-up to try to condition you to no longer mash buttons, which is down back 2-1. As you can see it lands on counter. The problem with this move, as I'm going to show you utilizing King as an example, is that you can duck the high. And it will look like this. Now, I cannot delay this move, which is what I'm going to show you the power of the delay in this next segment. So like I showed you earlier with Ling Xiaoyu, if you block the down back 2 and you can duck the high, you can do this and then you get yourself a free punish. Raven cannot delay this string. However, if we go on over to King, however, with his down forward 2, you'll notice number 1, his down forward 2 is 13 frames, right? And it's -6 on block. Now, if you do his follow-up, is a high. Now, the high is -4, right? I don't really have a problem with that. However, this is me doing the move normally. Now, notice the delay. You can delay this move significantly. And I am not a King main, but I can tell you a lot of solid King players will master this timing, and they can literally take a wait and see approach to where, okay, if this connected, I can then just press the follow-up and get a full combo. You know, I'm not a King main, but you get the point, right? As far as I'm concerned, this is an absolute bullshit character, King. I feel this character, I know this character needs to be absolutely nerfed into the abyss. There is no way King should have the type of offensive capabilities that he has as a wrestler. But that's for another video. But I just wanted to highlight that. Now, oddly enough, this move is down forward 2-1, whereas Raven's is down back 2-1. So, you know, if you're going to keep the ability to delay King's down forward 2-1, then why not give Raven the ability to delay his down back 2-1? That's my argument. Considering that even if that move were to connect on counter hit, that's really all you're getting. You're just getting a clone for 39 damage. And as we know, all clones in this game are they're minus 14. They're minus 14. And that's something I 100% do not agree with. I feel that the clones, all of your clones should be minus 12 at the very least. I feel that is very fair. But unfortunately, with this being minus 14, I just feel that it provides the opponent too much of a reward just for something that is just going to knock you away. It doesn't lead to a combo. It doesn't lead to a bound. It doesn't even lead to any kind of a frame advantage situation. It just knocks you down, and your opponent can just roll back, so you don't even get a guaranteed follow-up. So yeah, this makes running down back 2, which is one of Raven's best moves, but you're basically going to be doing stuff like this, where if it's blocked, you're just going to be exiting out of back turn. So while you are safe doing this, it's sort of like, if it doesn't, it's an all or nothing kind of deal. If it's blocked, yeah, you can try to roll the dice and think, all right, I'm gonna do down back 2-1, but if they just happen to duck, you're dead. You're gonna eat 70 to 90 damage from a combo just because they happen to twitch duck on you. And I just feel like that's ridiculous, given the significance of a down back 2 that most Raven players are, we swear by. So I don't agree that it should be that way. Because pretty much once this move does land, yeah, you're +5, and that's when you can kind of start executing your back turn options. But I just feel like that is just such a crazy way to initiate your offense as a Raven player. I'm just not agreeing with that. And I can tell you that the main reason why Ravens have to rely on this is because Raven does not have a meaningful attack that puts him in back turn that is either mid or high, that does not take 20,000 years to come out, and that will give him at least -2 or -3 on block. Now, for instance, Raven does have a few moves that will put him in back turn, which is up 3. This move is absolutely dog shit. Now that I've been getting more and more experience with Raven, playing much better opponents, this move, your opponent can literally walk out of the range of this move. It has no forward momentum. You have to basically be at range 0 for this move to even be effective. And at that point, like I said, your opponent can literally walk out of range. Now, if the opponent does happen to block, you do get +2, which is fine, because if I have +2, at the very least, I can threaten with Raven's back turn 1, back turn 2-2. Basically, you can threaten with Raven's 10 frame options, which I don't mind, because it's the same situation you're placed in when Aqua Spider hits on normal hit. As you can see, this is +2 on hit, and you can threaten with Raven's 10 frame options, which will condition the enemy to no longer try to take their turn back, and that's where you can start, mixing up and doing other attacks. But the fact that Raven does not have meaningful attacks that will put him back turned with any kind of plus frames it's ridiculous. And so you're forced to rely on attacks to actually make contact on your opponent, giving you the frames needed to execute his back turn options, which I feel is completely nonsensical. It's bullshit. It's ridiculous. And that's just something I would like to see changed, because the only other attack that Raven could really utilize is his running 3, which takes 26,000 years to come out. Okay, 26 frames, but you get my point. Now, typically, a 26 frame move is not inherently bad per se, but the fact that it's a running attack, and you try as you might, there is a tell. There is a tell that you're gonna try to go for a running attack, and the fact that this guy is a ninja, having officially the slowest running attack in the game, that doesn't sit well with me. Whereas King, on the other hand, let's look at this nonsense, right? King, as if this guy needed it, his running attack is running 3. Now, as you can see, it's 20 frames and it's a knee attack. So most of the cast can't even parry this. His stupid giant swing, which is a 10 frame grab, which is absolute bullshit. You can, let me see if I can do it. Anyway, I'm not a King user, but you get my point. The fact that he can do this, now you're +3 as the King user. So if you block this, you have a choice to make. Either you're gonna get this throw, or you're gonna get this throw, or you're gonna get, muscle buster. So you have to guess between 3 grabs. It's just too much. So I just think that it's really ridiculous that this broken bullshit character King has a faster running attack than a goddamn ninja. There's nothing nobody can tell me where that in any world makes any kind of sense. That makes no sense. And then to make it even worse, the advantage that you get from even blocking this move, let's say if you actually happen to get somebody to stand still and block this move, it's only +4 on block. Whereas, the heat version is +7. But as you can see from the heat meter, it drains your heat meter a lot. I don't know why they just don't simply make this running attack +7 normally. If you're gonna keep this move at 26,000 years it takes to come out, at least give you +7 just across the board. Now, another move I want to go and show a difference of is Raven's back 3. Now, as you can see, his back 3 is 27 frames. So, if you're willing to add it into your offense, it is possible to get somebody to block this move. And as you can see, it is +4. Now, I don't mind that. +4 is decent for Raven. What I do have an issue with is the fact that it has a ridiculous amount of pushback. Whereas I would prefer to have that pushback removed so that you as the Raven player can fully exploit and press your advantage, your +4 advantage. Also, I would like to see Raven have the option to go into Soul Zone by holding down from this move, because the Soul Zone, if you look at the Soul Zone animation, I think it would blend nicely with back 3. I don't know, I would like to hear your opinion on that. So let me show you another example from another character who has a similar type of kick, but you're gonna see a vast difference. So in this example, I'm going to show you Lili's down forward 3. And when you contrast this with Raven's back 3, it's like day and night. As you can see, Lili's down forward 3 is 20 frames, and it's +3. So she's only missing 1 frame of advantage as opposed to Raven's back 3. As you can see, there's literally there's no pushback really at all. Lili is able to press her advantage. She's able to take full advantage of her +3 advantage, whether that's her strikes, her grabs. She's able to utilize this. And another thing I like is if it's on counter hit, you can follow up with a combo. And then on hit, it's +8. And I love that. With Ravens, on the other hand, if we go to Ravens, which is absolute trash, look at the pushback again, as I showed in the other segment. While he is +4, but it's like there's very limited things that you can do. And then if the move connects, it knocks you down. And sure, you can probably do another back 3 follow-up, but what I would like to see is the properties of Lili's down forward 3 literally copy and pasted to Raven's back 3 to be able to press your advantage as the Raven player. Having somebody get hit with Raven's back 3 and the opponent reacting like this, I think that would be amazing. That would greatly help Raven. And then of course, if it's blocked, he'll still maintain his +4 advantage. But like Lili, there will be no pushback, so that as the Raven player, you're able to press your advantage, whether that's do quick pokes, grabs, or even do side steps, debating your opponent's response and then sidestepping them after. That is something that I would like to see. So when you look at the battle between Raven's back 3 versus Lili's down forward 3, the winner is clear. And this just further proves my point that Raven fundamentally is the worst character in this game. Another thing that I would like to show, earlier in the video, I did the comparison between Ling and Raven, specifically Raven's back 2-2-3 string versus Ling's forward 3-1, 1+2. Well, Lili has a similar premise. Lili can do back 2-1. Now, this move is a high. It's 13. It has a 13 frame startup and it's -11. If you contrast that with Ravens, just to kind of remind you, Ravens is a high as well, but it's 15 frames and it's -14 on block. It's utterly ridiculous. So to move forward here, back 2-1. If you hold back, she goes in the back turn, right? And she's at -4. If you she's -4 regardless of whether or not you go back turn or not. Now, let's say if your opponent wants to interrupt her from executing her back turn options, well Lili could just do back 2-1, 1+2, and she can delay it. Look at this. See that delay? Now this is just, this is the string at normal speed. Delayed. And if you notice, more importantly, similar, in fact, the same thing with Ling Xiaoyu. With Ling Xiaoyu and Lili, both of their enders of this type of string is -12. Now, again, you can argue and say that the back 2-2-3, if you were to land a counter hit on that string from Raven, it's going to give you a launch. However, if you just, again, do the low option, it's -30. I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. You know, it's just, there are just certain things about this character, very few that are very good for Raven, but you know, when you're just trying to get into your stance, it's just a nightmare. It becomes very apparent that Raven has a lot of holes, and in my opinion, he is the worst character in this game. Now, that's not to say Raven can't win. I'm not saying that. But when you compare him against all the other characters that have similar moves to what he can do, their version of that move or string is 9 times out of 10 always better. Up to. Now this is a 26 frame attack. However, you have a very big payoff because as you can see, if you block this move, you are in back turned and you are at +6. Now, you don't have to go back turned. You can just simply hold down or hold forward, and the move then becomes +4, which is still great advantage, right? So you can hold up, hold forward, hold down, and she'll remain facing forward. And you're facing forward at this range at +4, where you can still grab, you can threaten grabs, right? You can threaten attacks and all that. Another great thing about this move is on counter hit, gives you a full combo. Full combo, look at this. Full combo. Now on normal hit, you're +7. So you get 1 frame of advantage. However, it's really an additional frame, so you're really +8 because when your opponent is in that crouch state and your next attack is a while standing attack, the fastest while standing attack for 99% of the cast in this game is 11 frames. So realistically, you're really at +9, +8. The only characters in Tekken, based on my experience, that have while standing 10 frame attacks are Li Chaolan and Lei Wulong. And only one of those characters is in this game. Everybody else, their fastest move is while standing is 11 frames. So this to me is a very strong move for Ling Xiaoyu. And when you look at the fact that it takes 26 frames for this move to come out, it's not great from a speed standpoint, but when it does make contact on the opponent, it's worth it. When you do this particular move, a similar move, up 3, which is 27 frames, it has no forward momentum, it's a high attack, and it's only +2 on block. Come on, bro. Like, it's trash. It's absolute trash. You know, and it's just sad when you really break down Raven and you compare his tools to other characters' tools. It's no comparison. He loses like really bad. So, you know, Raven is, again, the worst character in Tekken 8. And he is in need of the most buffs, as far as I'm concerned. When you really look at the character like this, when you look at the character the way I do, I don't care about the player. I don't care about the player using him. I don't care if you're a whole man, Tissumon, Hayes. I don't care if you're that other English guy, Immortal Soul. I don't care what you are, who you are as a Raven player. I am looking at the character on paper, based on their frames, based on what they can do on paper. And this character is just not that good. And he needs a lot of help. But you know what, actually, I just thought about it. Let me just add in one more example. Let me just show you Jin. Let me just show Jin. Let me just do quick select for maybe 2 of you that are still watching the video. Where's Jin at? Where's that broken piece of shit character? Okay, here we go. We're gonna go in Jin. The last move that I want to show is what I feel is Raven's best move, or should I say the best string that he has, which is back turn 3-4-4. Now this move, I had the thought to utilize that string when I started to really look at Jin's cancerous 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 4. This string right here is complete bullshit. If this move were to, land on counter hit, it knocks you down, you get a free follow-up, that's free, or whatever else you want to do. I just think that's really ridiculous, because while you're busy blocking this and you want to take your turn back, you're going to end up getting a counter hit like so, and then, it's just really ridiculous. However, when I made the discovery of back 2-1-4, it really operates very similarly to Jin's 2-1-4. So I have Jin set to attack me, so I'm going to show you the reason why I believe this back turn 3-4-4 string with Raven, to me, is his best. I would argue and say it's his best move, his best string, his best everything, is because there are 2 points where your opponent can mash. And also the initial kick is 10 frames, right? So for instance, if you have a 2-frame advantage where, like, say you do Aqua Spider on hit, right? You have 2 frames of advantage. So if you do this, that's natural because the initial 2 lands on counter hit. So that's 29 damage right there. But let's say if your opponent decides to block the first and mash on the second, it becomes a trade in most situations, and that trade is heavily in your favor because then you can follow up with this. And I noticed some characters are different. Some characters put you at different ranges, but down back 2-1 is the most consistent. However, in this situation with Jin, you can do back 4-4 for 53 damage. You can do that. Now let's say if the opponent happens to mash on the second hit, that's guaranteed. So what ends up happening is your opponent is just no longer mashing. Now what I would like to see, and I've said this in prior videos when it pertains to how I would like to see Raven buffed, I would like to see the option to keep Raven back turned after these 2 kicks. So instead of him spinning back around and facing forward, I would much rather stay back turned, because it would basically look like this, and I'm just back turned, even if I'm a little bit distance away. So even if I'm neutral, I can work with that because now I can threaten with other moves. But as I hope that I've shown and illustrated, this move definitely acts very, very similar to Jin's 2-1-4. Because, if you block the 2-1, I'm going to just go through this real quick. I'm going to play it back to myself. So I'm blocking 2-1. But if I mash, you see I get that, you get the counter hit. So now what that's going to make me do, that's going to make me respect the kick. So now this is the main reason why you get people standing, just like this. So basically Raven's back turned 3-4 is essentially the same deal. But I just wanted to just come on and just show those examples. Believe me, I feel that Raven, he's solid, but I'm comparing the character based on what the character can do against the other characters that have similar moves. This is the reason why I showed King's down forward 2-1 versus Raven's down back 2-1. I showed Raven's back 2-2 string versus Ling's forward 3-1 1+2 string. You know, it's just highlighting those specifically. You're doing the back 2-2 string to get Raven into back turn. And it's just that the move that he is utilizing to condition the opponent to stop mashing, both those options are launch punishable, whereas Ling Xiaoyu's is only -12. The same goes with Lili. You know, so I really hope that this is very clear. You know, I could do a ton more of these types of videos because there are other moves that other characters have. By comparison to Raven, their version of that move is vastly superior. But anyway, I'm gonna just close out for now. Hopefully, you know, this has become more and more clear. You know, I understand when I say stuff like this, people will again say, well, Raven can win. There are God of Destruction ranks with Raven. Yes, I'm well aware of that. I don't care about none of that shit because I am comparing the character versus character. I don't care about the player. You can have JDCR or Arsalan Ash or Ni use Raven and they will get decent results with the character. But that doesn't change the fact, fundamentally, the character, when compared to the Jins of the game, the Kings of the game, the Victors of the game, Raven is just trash by comparison.